Welcome back to our show, Sweet Home Africa. Once again, my name is Mrs. Augustina and help me welcome my friend, Mrs.
glorynezemma. Welcome back to our sweet home. It's always a pleasure to have you as our viewer. And we have such a great topic today. I won't call it such a great topic actually. We have a topic that touches everyone. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you look like. This is a broad topic. So our topic today is when the whole world is facing death, where do you run to? And what do you take with you? So that's our topic today. You know, it's almost like it's heartbreaking when you hear people running helter and skelter. And unfortunately, the borders are closed. So there's no place to run to. And there's nothing to take. You can't take your computer. You can't take your cars. You can't take anything with you. Even if they say run, and you have to run somewhere. You can't carry all your money in your head. And you can't carry all your houses in your head. So in a time like this, what do you do? So that's why my friend and I were here today, to give you some insights on what you can do when the whole world is facing death. We have the 7 P's, that's what we call it. So we'll take each P and then we'll, you know, analyze it a little bit so that you can apply it to your own life. Alright, so our first P is prayer.
Prayer.
Yes. So my dear friend, once again, when the whole world is facing death, what do we need to do? Pray. So,
yes, my dear, you are right, because for believers and children of God all over the world, they know that prayer is the key. Prayer is the key that we know. In everything, we pray to God. That's when we communicate with Him. You need to pray. Children of God, we are not going to lose hope. Keep on praying. And don't you have the mind that your prayers are not being answered. It is being answered, because this is a different situation, a difficult situation, and some of us have not witnessed something like this before. It could be overwhelming to a whole lot of us, but after all said and done, we need to pray. If you usually pray once a day, make it 2 or 3 times a day. My dear, did I speak right?
Yes, because actually with prayer is very important. Even before we started this show, someone called me from the church, the place that I worship, and then lifted me up in prayer even before we started recording. Alright, so that's why it's very important actually, not just pray with your family members, but it's also good to reach others and pray with them and lift them up at this time. So that's it with the P of prayer. The second P is praise.
Praise.
Yes, in everything you have to praise the Lord. Whether good times or bad times, you have to praise. And the more you praise, that's one thing about praise actually. You know, I'll talk from an angle of a musician, because I'm a musician too. So I write songs and praises.
A gospel singer.
Exactly.
Bring it home a little bit.
That's true.
A gospel singer.
That's true. So when you're in a very difficult situation, sometimes there's so many songs that can lift your spirit up. So it's not a time to dwell in sorrow all the time. So the more you praise God, the happier you will be, and then you'll be more focused. So this is a very good time to praise. All right, my friend, what do you need to add with the P of praise?
Dear, as those of us that read the Bible or go to church, you know that when Paul and Silas prayed, they prayed and they praised God. The Israelites sing praises, because there's nothing like praises. When you praise God, doors start opening, windows start opening, because that's the food God eats. God don't need our money, because He is the creator of the universe. All He eats is praise.
That's true.
So we need to praise Him in good and in bad time. Whatever we regard it to be bad, we need to sing praises to God. And that will loosen up. Like my friend just said, once you praise God, come out of your heart, you will not be depressed. You will refocus and start thinking, now what do I do? You will be able, in a better position, to thank God for every situation. Just sing Praises. Try it if you have not done it.
Exactly. Actually, praises is an antidepressant too.
Yes.
Because I like what you said. Because I know a lot of people are running to the pharmacy and running everywhere to buy antidepressants so that they can sleep. But try this. If you start praising, like we said, you can download it from your cell phones. You can buy albums. You can, online. There's so many places that you can get praises. And try praise, and you could see that you can go to sleep like a child, even without taking the antidepressants. All right, so our third P is ponder. This is a time to ponder and reflect on what you have been doing prior to this crisis. It's a slow down process for everyone all around the world. So it's time for you to ponder and think and say, are there things that I need to change in my life? Were there things that I was doing then that I don't want to do in this new world? I call it a new world because now the whole world is being reshuffled. So when we start all over, I think it's going to be a new world everywhere. So it's a time for us to ponder and see what we can change, some lifestyles that we can change. There's so many things that we have done wrong. There's so many, in terms of businesses and things that people have done. You talk about prostitution, you talk about child molestation, you talk about child abuse, you talk about so many things, corruption, bribery. This is a time to ponder and say, God, what are things that I need to change in my life so that I won't carry those bad behaviors to the new world? My friend, I'll let you talk on ponder, on what you need to advise people.
You already said the whole thing is just in a simple way for us to think about what we are going to do in a new world. What we are doing, because when we were starting, my friend opened it up by what do you take with you. Since all these things are going on, some of us that are, it's hard for us to call out from work, even if we are sick. Now, what happened? The job is closed. All of us are sitting down. I don't have time. Anything, I don't have time. Now there is plenty of time for us to know what was working for us and what wasn't working. How am I treating my fellow human beings? Because if you treat others as you would like to be treated, the world will be a better place.
That's true.
So let's reflect on that. Are you a farmer? What are you feeding the crops with? Is it healthy to human life? Or you just want to make money? Fly on a jet? Get all the good things in the world? What is going on? Not thinking about people that we eat it and go to the hospital.
That's true.
So let's reflect on that. Are you supposed to pay your workers? Are you giving them a decent wage? What are you doing? Do you borrow and you don't pay back? So let's reflect on that. Are you a lawyer? You always want some people to plead what? Guilty. And get a lesser charge. You always go into an agreement so that they get lesser charges. And right inside, they didn't commit that offense because you want to get off completely. So let all of us reflect and know that there is nothing in this world. At the end of it, everybody is the same. Please reflect on what you're doing. Are you an employee? You work when the boss is around. When they're not around, you go and sit down and do your own thing. So let each and every one of us. Are you a man of God? Are you preaching what God wants you to preach? Or are you selective on what to preach? Are you telling the people the truth? What are you doing? This is a time for us to question ourselves and know what we are doing and be able to correct ourselves before it is too late. Let's reflect, let's ponder, let's think about it. Let's change our ways so that at this new world, we all are going to live happily ever after.
That's true. And actually, to add a little bit to what you said, well spoken. One, internationally, let me put it this way. Are you discriminating against others? Like we said, this is a time to ponder. Are you discriminating against the blacks? Are you discriminating against the whites? Are you discriminating? Because, when you look at it, even with the crisis that is going on now, when a lot of people see people from China, they run away from them because they think it started there. Now we are all feeling the pain around the world. So the Chinese are understanding how it feels to be discriminated against. The blacks have been discriminated against. The whites, you know, in one way or the other, have also been discriminated against. The Indians have been discriminated against. So now we have to ponder. Like we said, I mean, I don't know if some of you watched the previous episode. With this crisis, everyone is feeling the pain. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Yes.
It doesn't matter your color. It started one place and it spread all around the world. I will tell you that we're all related in one way or the other. But we're all connected. Let me use that word. And it doesn't matter the skin color. So now it's time for us to ponder. Am I supposed to treat this person differently because the skin color is different? Am I supposed to treat this person differently because they come from a different race? So this is a time to ponder and realize that when one is crying, the other is crying. It doesn't matter who they are. And when one is laughing, when the whole world is happy, we'll all be happy at the same time. This is not a time to wage wars all over the place. This is not a time to practice unfair trade. It's a time for us to ponder now and say, am I buying things from other countries fairly? Am I giving them what the good is worth so that they can use it to feed their own family? Am I doing what we're supposed to? If I'm a president of a country, am I doing the right thing with the other countries? Am I treating them fairly? Am I exploiting them, or am I doing a real business with them? So this is time for international and for people to ponder, because it's a very difficult time for everyone, but it's also a time of reflection and a time of change. All right, so let's go to our next P. Our next P is pull others. So this is a, well, okay, let me push it a little bit deeper so that everyone can understand what I meant by that. To pull others means this is a time to pull others up. It doesn't matter where you come from, like we said. Once again, even before we started the show, another friend called me and then encouraged me and said, you know, keep on doing what you're doing and, you know, be stronger at this difficult time.
Yes.
So it's a time for us to call each other and pull each other up. So my dear friend, go ahead. What do you need to add with the pull?
My dear, this pulling is so deep and deeper than we thought, than I thought. Pulling each other and lifting each other up. So how do you do it? It's on an individual basis. Because we can pull somebody up by a word of mouth. Like my friend said that she was called and somebody encouraged her and let her promise her that it's going to be okay no matter what. So when you call somebody, what do? Do you inflict fear in them? When you call the sick, what do you tell them? When you call the people now that don't have a source of income, what are you telling them? What are you doing to help? So do you say it's going to be okay when you have excess food around you and you can drop something or put even $5 in the account and say, okay, go get a loaf of bread? How are we pulling people up? Because everybody have an individual needs. Some people is a word of encouragement that will keep them going. What are you doing? Are you stabbing somebody with your tongue, with your mouth, trying to put others down? So this is a time now we need to encourage each other. This is a time, a word from our mouth will have a good and positive imprint in somebody's life. This is a time, if you used to be a negative person looking at things, oh, it's not going to be okay. Try to tell yourself that my life is okay and I'm well because I know my Redeemer liveth. This is a time for you to encourage your neighbors through what you do, through what you say, through your behavior. Let's lift each other up. Let's stop talking down on other human beings God created. Like my friend said, the last time we talked about, is ponder, we are thinking, we are reflecting. So right now, let's be positive, no matter what the world is doing. It is so hard, a lot of us are afraid. A lot of us, especially when they talk about from 60 years up, people are afraid. They already put fear in their age bracket. So let's start speaking a positive word. I know the scientists have to tell us something good. Let us encourage them. Let's pray with them. Let's talk to them about God, and so that we can be able to pull them out from whatever that stressful situation. Please, let's get in touch with each other, one another, your church members, anybody, whatever, your students. Let's get in touch with families, because this is a hard and stressful situation. And with words of encouragement, a whole lot of people are going to bounce back faster. My dear.
Thank you so much, my friend. I love how you bring it to, everyday people, and it makes me very happy because, we're not like, okay, these are newscasters, we're everyday people.
Yes.
That have lived with everyday people, and that's why we bring out everyday problems. All right, so I will move it internationally again. Exactly. So it's a time to pull each other up. All right, so let's move into the government. So countries and countries and countries all over the world, it's time to pull each other up.
Yes.
The rich ones, it's time to pull the poor ones up. So it's time to bridge that gap now, because when you look at it, once again, when the eyes is crying, the nose is also crying. So right now, the whole world, we're all crying. So it's time for the Western world that are super rich to go back now and pull up those countries, the neighboring countries that are very poor,
the faraway countries. That's what they call them.
Exactly. Because now when this is over, I think the world is going to start all afresh.
From the beginning.
Then now there will be another number like 1, 2, 3. So I think instead of even numbering 1, 2, 3, I think everyone should be equal as it is now. Because there's something that my friend called this disease. She said it's an equalizer. That means no one is above this disease, the virus that is going around now. So this is a time for us to, like I said, pull each other. Rich countries, pull the poor ones up.
That's right.
So that at least they can get up to a certain standard. Rich people in countries. Let's say, we live in America. This show, we bring it from America. All right, so the people in America, you have super rich people. And they're so wealthy, they're flying, aircraft everywhere, they're going to cruises. And even in America, it's surprising, even people that are watching us from Africa and watching us from far away, to believe that there's so many poor people in America. Poor! That they don't even have anything to eat. So, this is one of the richest countries in the whole wide world. So, if the rich people here can at least help the poor as much as they can.
Pull them up.
Pull them up. And when we say help, I know you have the welfare system, but it's time to pay them well. They work hard. You have, especially in the hospital, I see a lot of people that are working so hard, people are working so hard, but they don't get paid well. It's time to pay them well, and then stop cutting their taxes. When you know that they don't have enough to eat, even to take care of their children, they're taking loans from the government to put their children in school. That means they don't have enough. So for you to even take so much tax from them, it's almost exploiting them more and subjecting them more towards poverty. So what you could do with this new world that is coming, leave them with their taxes, allow them to keep their money, so that they can eat well, they can live well, and they can train their children in school. So that's what you could do. Even I know many of them, you've taken their taxes already, but with this, like I said, with this new world, allow people to, especially people that are working hard for their money, let them keep their money. The taxers, the rich ones now should step out. If you, if you have to rebuild the country and do something, use your own money and allow these poor ones that are struggling every day to keep their money so that they can use it to better their own lives. That's the P of pulling others. Let's go to P number 5.
Let me say something about that pulling others when you mentioned the rich people, because in a country like this, I think the wealthy people can pay tax because they will not take nothing out of them. Instead of having that bracket where the rich don't pay tax. And the poor, like you said, some of them are making $10 an hour.
And they drain them.
Then you take the tax from them.
Yes.
Why some people that are billionaires are not paying taxes? That's actually what we are talking about.
It's heartbreaking.
So that in a way we bridge the gap. In this new world we are looking at, once we bridge the gap, the poor people are being, we call them poor. Maybe because maybe they're not fortunate enough, like you. So since you're fortunate and you made it somehow, spread the wealth.
Spread the wealth. That's the word.
Pay taxes. We know that roads have to be taken care of, or that public utilities have to be taken care of. But some people will be so comfortably paying the taxes without it bringing them down. When you take somebody that makes $10 an hour You take tax from them. Eventually, you're sending them home with $7 an hour, and they have 3, 4 kids. They are living in the house they rented from you.
Thank you.
Then you come back and take the money after they put it together. So you look at it.
You're making them poorer. You're subjecting them to the poverty.
This world we are in is not changing, and we look forward to that better world where everybody had to be treated fairly.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Because actually, I know it's been, we stayed on this P for a long time, but there's something that I need to add. Because when you look at it, actually, people keep on saying, oh, these people are poor, these people are poor. But the rich ones are making the poor ones poorer.
Yeah, because
look, like you said, the house belongs to the rich, and then the poor will pay the tax.
The tax.
The car belongs to the rich, they will buy it and they will pay you.
They lease it.
They lease it. So when you look at it, what is making the poor people
poorer
is the rich people.
Because we are helping the
exploiting
rich
them.
Rich.
So they pull every little money that they have.
You have.
So please, we're pleading, have heart. Have a good heart. And allow people, they're working so hard so that they can keep their money.
That's right.
All right, so that's it with that.
We go to another P.
Exactly.
This is enough of this.
That's a
P. Pulling. This is enough of P.
So P number 5 is promise.
Oh, wow.
It's a time now to promise. Promise yourself, promise your family, and promise God. It's a time for us to go back and say, okay, these are things that we did before, but God, I promise you that if you save my life with this virus, this is what I'm going to do differently. I promise you when you save my life, I'm not going to lend money and ask for interest of double the amount that I've lent. God, I'm promising to pay my workers. God, I'm promising you that I'm not going to exploit women and men. I promise. So this is time to promise. If I do business, it will be a legal business. If I bring food out, it will be good food that will be healthy to people. I won't just put anything in a can and sell it so people to drink or eat just for me to make money, even if it kills them or cause diseases in their life. It's a time to promise. It's a time to promise your family, I'm going to be faithful in marriage. It's a time to promise your children, I will be a good father, I will be there for you. I'll be a good mother, I'll be there for you. And then I will be a good friend to your friends. It's a time to promise. And promise God that I will live a good life from now on until you call me home. Go ahead with promise, my friend.
dear, you said it all. You went all around. Everything of a promise is done, as you said. But Christians, especially the Catholics, this is a reflection
confession time, is it?
No, this is a reflection because we're in a Lenten period.
Okay.
When we promise, so we are not going to eat meat on Fridays. We promise we are going to do this, God, we are going to pray rosary, we are going to do this. So it fell in right. So you do that pondering, you lift people up, and you're going to make that promise. That is a promise you will make to yourself, your conscience, because you are now in your house. You know how you acquire your money. If you're a farmer, what are you planting? What are you adding to the food? That everybody believe and trust you that this food is okay for human health. What are you feeding the animals, the so-called cow, so that when we drink that milk, we are going to be fine. Our children are not going to be over hyperactive. They're going to pay attention in classrooms. So what are you doing? You that is a farmer. All the fruit, all the crops, are they okay?
Exactly.
Everybody, the pharmacists, everybody, the doctors, what are you putting in people's system? All around, the government, what are you doing to make the life of people desirable to live? Are you putting rules that will hurt them at the end of the tax year? What are you doing? Make things easier. Treat others as you would like to be treated. That's actually what we are talking about. So we have to be able to know that whatever we are doing in this new world, everybody will, in a little way, live more comfortably than we are living now. Everybody will be more trusting than we are now. If you tell us this is this, that people will believe you when they buy it, and actually that's what it will give. What about those that are producing medication? Are you making it at the end of people been taking your medication, maybe those on high blood pressure or diabetes medication? After 4 or 5 years, somebody is on medication, you say, oh, hi, I forgot to tell you that one of the ingredients is causing this or is causing that. please, let's make sure we have our research, because we are dealing with human beings. That what you said you're delivering, that's what people will receive. You cannot be promised, and you don't deliver what you promise. My dear?
Well, while you were talking, actually,
I know you remember something. Just tell them.
Exactly.
Tell everybody.
Exactly, is to move it internationally again.
Okay, let's go.
When it comes to promise.
Yes.
Promise. So now you have to promise every country. Once again, when you're doing trading with any company, I mean any country, promise them that if I'm buying something from China to send to Africa, that these are good products. It's not product that won't harm them. Promise, you know, any other country, if I'm buying something from America and I'm sending it to India, it has to be good stuff. Any country that is trading with any country, make sure that you give them the right thing. Don't give them something that will kill their family. Don't give them something that you will not even consume, and you will not even allow your own, you know, family or your own people in your own country to consume. So this is a good time to promise each other to be truthful in all our dealings, whether business or personal dealings. All right, so that's with that P. It's the P. 6P. The 6P is payback time. This is a time to pay back. When we say payback, a lot of people will be thinking get even. No. Payback, get even, is that one is a slang. It's not what we meant. It's a time to pay back for people that you have robbed. It's a time to pay back for people to, you know, pay back. That's right. To people that you have cheated in one way or the other. If you know that you have had any business dealings with anyone, let's just bring it home a little bit. If you have charged so much interest with credit cards, someone came to you to borrow $5,000. You tell them when you're paying back, you will pay me back $10,000. Well, at first, you have to understand that for somebody to come to borrow from you, that means they don't have it. So if they borrow from you when they're in time of need, and now they have to pay you back, and you subject them to even more need, are you a fair person? Or are you a fair lender? So think about it. These are, I mean, we started with individuals. You've lended to countries, you've lended everywhere. Did you charge good interest? It's even in the Bible. When you lend and then you charge heavy interest, you're considered a criminal. So it's a time to pay back. If you have lended money to people and charge them super interest, it's time to wipe that debt and let them go so that it will be evened up, knowing that you have taken what you were supposed to take as the lender, but the part that you cheated, you've given it back to them. It's time to wipe debts. Go ahead, my friend.
My dear, this one you said, as you know, we are talking based on maybe where we are or what we have heard or seen or what have affected us in so many ways. Yes, the credit card issue, they tell you the point this and this and this percent, miss one payment, they jack it up, which I'm telling you. You talk about mortgage. You buy a house, let's say 100,000. You'll be paying it for 30 years.
And when you multiply it,
and in 15 years, from the first month, for the first 15 years, what you're paying is interest.
That's true.
Who does that? Please, everybody that is affected in this or that is involved in this should go back to the drawing table to make life a little bit more livable for human beings. All they want is accommodation. Exactly. They live there and you want them, you tie them to a place for 30 years. And they're paying and they're paying and they're paying. They miss a payment, then everything, you act like, why they miss a payment? They've been paying you, maybe they lost their job. You don't want to hear, oh, I don't have it now for an answer. So please, investors, you that invest money, you that put money together, you cannot be shyler. You have to collect your money first before you start looking for interest. And that interest, you have to make it a little bit accessible to a lay human being to afford. All we need is not like a jet. You will say, why didn't you buy a bike to go where you're going? We need accommodation, and this is a need for human beings. Let's go back to the drawing table.
All right, so we're almost done. And our 7th P is pardon. Okay. It's a time to pardon people. Because with this crisis that is going on, we know that, so many things have to be reshuffled. So we have so many people in prison all over the world. And some of them committed just minor crime that can be forgiven.
Yes.
But once again, it takes us back to the rich and the poor. Because a lot of people are in prison because they don't have money to bail themselves out. From America to Europe, from Europe to Africa, from Africa to Asia to Australia, to all over North America, South America, Canada, you name it, everywhere. People are in prison, especially poor people are in prison, because sometimes when the rich people do something wrong, they get away easily because they have the money to, get themselves out, to bail themselves out.
Too.
Exactly. So it's a time for us to pardon people all around the world. Pardon a lot of prisoners, especially the ones that are not deadly. The ones that can come out and start life over, and the ones that have spent so much time there, just because, like we said, they don't have anybody to get them out, especially in, the poor countries. Many people in prison are there because they don't have money. So it's a time of pardon. All right, my friend, what do you need to add to it?
Well, this pardon is, we call it in a way forgiveness.
That's true.
We talk about debt forgiveness. Now we are talking about you got to forgive yourself too. That's where the pardon starts. We reflected on what we did, and we pondered over it, and now it's time for us to forgive ourselves because we are going into a new world. It's time for you to it's time for you to forgive your neighbors. I don't know who your neighbors are. Some families don't even talk to each other. They don't see eye to eye, and you're still praying for progress. Some children, grown-ups, don't talk to their family members. Some of them don't even talk to their mother because they are holding on to something that happened maybe when they were 15, when they were 3 years old, when they were 10 years old. Yes, we all have grudges, but we got to let go because it takes so much energy to keep grudges. And at the end, it's not leading you to anything good. It's leading you to a life of being uncomfortable, trying to avoid as many people as you want to avoid. No, because those people can be a source of your progress.
That's true.
So let us pardon everybody, because right now, as you know, when you die, it will be so late.
That's true.
For you to forgive. We don't know when it will come. Look at the pandemic we're talking about.
That's
it just came in like that. So let's start forgiving, because when you pray our Father, you will know what it is. Because say, forgive me my own sin as I forgive those that sin against me. So now it's not like it's a command. So countries have to forgive countries.
Exactly.
Brothers and sisters have to forgive each other.
That's true.
Everybody. It includes me, includes you, includes everybody that is listening to us now. Let's walk with one spirit. Let's walk with a free mind. Let's stop holding grudges, no matter what.
Thank you so much, my friend. And actually, that's something that you pointed out when you were talking about pardon. We talked about families, we talked about individuals, and then you talked about loan forgiveness.
Because actually, there was it.
Exactly. Though we talked about paying debt back and everything.
Yes.
I mean, paying people that you have robbed indirectly, and from the loan that you give them and everything. But this is a time for loan forgiveness. And what came to my mind is student loans. We have a lot of people from struggling families. I won't call them poor because, I mean, I look at it, even people that others call poor, they are struggling. But the only thing is that sometimes they rich.
Because if you're rich, you won't go and borrow. You won't let your child borrow money to go to school. So it's poor families.
Exactly. So they are struggling so much to survive. And when you look at it, it's those struggling people are the ones that are making the rich richer. Because they are working, and then the money goes to the rich. So this is a time to forgive their children's student
loans. Yes.
It's a time of forgiveness. It's a time of pardon. It's a time to pardon prisoners, and it's a time to pardon debts. So please, we're pleading with governments all over the world that it's time to pardon students, because they took the money, they used it wisely, they struggled. Many of them are still struggling even to pay back. But release them so that they can start life you know, on a clean plate as we enter the new world.
You see that?
Yes.
Because if they didn't go to school, some of them can be robbing the bank.
Exactly.
But they borrowed money to better themselves.
Exactly.
And every money they make, they're still going to pay tax.
That's true.
So why don't they forgive? Why wouldn't the government forgive? Why wouldn't the government forgive them the loan?
Exactly.
Yeah? They forgive them the loan. No matter what they make, they still pay tax.
That's
they
true.
will still invest it somehow, and then the country will benefit. The students are not going to be working and grudging and crying because everything they make, they must pay their loan back. So to me, I look at it as a setback too in their investment ventures. Yes.
Exactly. All right, so we're done with this episode. And actually, like we said, just to cap it all, I mean, many of us have lost so much because of this crisis. And it would take a lot for all of us to start life all over again. Because, I mean, I'm looking at it personally as if the world has crashed as it is now. Even if it is not crashed completely, it has slowed down.
Yes.
So now it would take time for everyone to start
to rebuild
again, exactly. So it's always good, like we said, we ended it with pardon people's debt, so that at least they can have something to start life all over. All right, so once again, thank you so much for being our viewer.
Watching us.
I know this is a very long episode, and we thank you for your patience.
Yes.
To, you know, sit down to watch this show all the way from the beginning to the end. It's very important because we're like, even if it's one person that this touches, it will make a big impact.
Difference, yes.
But once again, like my friend says, subscribe to our channel, so that you can watch us every week. It's a show that comes out every week.
Yes.
So thank you once again for being a viewer, and may God bless you and keep you healthy with this crisis.
Amen.
Have a blessed week.
Thank you so much. That's right. Yes. Thank you so much as usual.
Yes.
Send us your questions. Send us if you have topic you want us to address here for the public, that will benefit the public, that will help to restructure people's life. Send it to us. We're going to look into it and we'll be able to bring it to the open. Thank you so very much, and may God bless you.
Watch us again next week.
Please do not be stingy. Send it out. Send it out. Once you get it, send it out. Forward it to people. Go to our YouTube, and then you will see us there. Sweet Home Africa. Have a great and wonderful day. Thank you, and God bless.